I am Bridget Lake, president of the Oviedo Winter Springs Regional Chamber of Commerce, and we are here with Khalid Muneer, running for property appraiser serving Orange County. Our premier virtual Eastside Regional Hob Nob is presented by Lucas Land Group, an Oviedo-based family-run business with interests throughout Central Florida. Our sponsors, Duke Energy and UCF, our radio sponsor, News 96.5 WDBO, and our website sponsor, Palm Tree Tech Center. Now, before we get into our conversation, let's watch a few messages from our sponsor, Duke Energy and UCF.
Across Florida, we're listening to customers like you, and we're working hard to build the brighter energy future you and your family deserve. That's why we're making smart investments in the grid to improve reliability and prevent outages, to use more clean, renewable energy like solar, and to give you better control over your energy use today and in the years ahead. We're Duke Energy, and we're building a smarter energy future for you.
Remote instruction has helped me out.
It's been great because the professor is very communicative still. I can email professor and get an email back in literally 20 minutes. We still have class, we still have to participate. It's not hard, it's just we have to do it a different way.
And I just think we've all done a really good job of adapting to these changes that have happened in a short period of time.
And I'm definitely still learning as much as I would in class.
And we are back with Khalid Muneer running for property appraiser serving Orange County. He is one of our candidates at the East Side Regional Hob Nob. How are you doing today, Khalid?
Thank you for inviting me, Bridget. I'm doing great. We're all still locked in, and we are probably suffering from Zoom fatigue, but otherwise, great.
I agree with you on that. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get into some questions, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My pleasure, Bridget. First of all, I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman and a community leader here in the area, in Orange County. And I own a real estate company, Jupiter Properties Incorporated, which I founded 20 years ago. It has 32 agents in the group. They come from 18 different countries. They speak 17 different languages. So I have quite a diversified and inclusive company that I run over the years. So in terms of my experience here, I've had the company for 20 years. Before that, I was in investment banking. So I spent 17 years in investment banking. And on a personal level, in investment banking, I've handled billions of dollars worth of portfolios as an investment manager for a major international bank. On a personal level, I've been married 40 years. I have 6 children that I brought up, and I probably made a major contribution to the Florida educational system because they went to UCF, UNF, UF, Stetson, Nova. That's all I can remember. I just remember paying the bill. So I'm very grateful for what Florida has given me. I've been here nearly 30 years in Florida, and I have been serving the Orange County community for over a decade. And I'm looking forward to the community support in my next running for office for Orange County property appraiser. Now, I have a track record of serving Orange County for over a decade in various leadership roles. And currently, I'm the president of the Asian American Chamber of Commerce here in Central Florida, second time around. But I also served on the local economic. I was on the executive committee of the Orlando Economic Development Commission and on the board of the EDC also. And I've been very active there for the last 6 years. With the Orlando Economic Partnership, the new entity that came out of the EDC. I've also served in Orlando as chairman of the city board on business certifications, and also I served as chairman of the Enterprise Flagler, which was part of the Enterprise Florida here in Flagler County. In terms of my qualifications, I have served a lot of boards here, non-profit organizations also, Harbor House, which is a domestic violence against women, which an issue that's close to my heart. I've served on their board for the last 4 years. I also serve on the executive committee of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society here, and chairman of the first Veterans Kids Care. In terms of connections with the local business people, I've been through the Leadership Orlando Class 97 program, Political Leadership Institute class of 2008, and International Drive Chamber of Commerce Leadership programs. And so I'm well versed with Orange County. I know the Orange County very well, and I know all the properties in Orange County very well also. So I want to bring my experience and my technical knowledge to an office for which I'm very well suited for. That's a little bit on me, Bridget.
Well, I love the start of this. Let me ask you, I understand that you were not born in the States, but chose to make America in Florida your home. So how is that process experience framed your view of your political process? I mean, how is that experience? I mean, you chose Florida. How did that become your choice?
Well, I years ago when I grew up in Britain, and when I was living over there, we came to visit Disney, and that's going back to 1986. So when we came, and my wife commented, wouldn't it be nice to come and live here in Orlando? So we got our dream come true 5 years later. We moved here in 1991 to Orlando, to Florida, and we've been here ever since. So one of the things that's always been close to my heart is my service for the community. I like to serve people, and that's why I went into the real estate business, because real estate business involves dealing with people, serving the people, and advising them on their biggest lifetime investment, which is either their home or their business. So that's what I did, what I have done in Orange County over the decades also. I have served, I've tried to serve in organizations, in communities where I can make a difference with my background and with my experience.
And you mentioned the many years of Jupiter Properties and your experience with that, and also the diverse culture that you have there. How does all of that come to play if you do get elected, and where you see bringing the property appraiser's office in the next few years?
Well, a year ago, I had the courage to stand up and say what was going on in Orange County Properties Appraiser Office was unacceptable, and it needed to change. We saw, and this is general knowledge, it was in the Orlando Sentinel also, the current incumbent, there were scandals, corruption, wastage of taxpayers' hard-earned money on lawsuits against employees, against organizers like Disney, which just finished last Friday, which the Orange County Property Appraisers lost, costing the taxpayers millions of dollars, and lawsuits against employees for no reason but for the fact that they refused to cahoot in a scheme with them to do all the cover-ups and so on. So to me, this is scandalous. This is unacceptable. So my job would be to go in and make a new start and bring a new work culture to the office. And also, we Property Appraiser's Office is one of the most important office here in Central Florida, and probably in Florida also, because you are responsible for $220 billion worth of property that has to be appraised. So with my 22 years experience in real estate and appraisal, plus 70 years in investment banking, I am the only qualified person in that race, because incumbent has 11 indicted criminal charges against him, and the other candidate, she's openly admitting that she has no experience. Rep Mercado. She has no experience of real estate, and she has no experience of the property appraisal business. So how can you entrust evaluation appraisal of $220 billion worth of property to somebody who has zero experience? So in that sense, it's a very appraising property in Orange County is a very complex process. It is complex because you have the 7 of the biggest theme parks here in Orlando. They have to be appraised. They have to be appraised in a specific way. You have to add up their parking spaces, the seating in their Disney restaurants, etc., etc. So it needs a person who is experienced, a person who has the technical knowledge of appraisals to be able to effectively do that job. Look, in life, your house and your business is a person's biggest investment. So we want to protect those. We want to make sure you have a property appraiser who has the knowledge to be able to appraise, supervise a staff of over 120 appraisers and make sure those properties are appraised accurately and objectively and in a fair manner, so they don't overpay on their property taxes.
I think you just answered my question of why do you think you're the best candidate? So I'm going to skip that one. And just before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to add?
I would just like to add the fact that Orange County Property Appraiser's Office is very important because out of the county budget of $4.4 billion, $2.1 billion, which is 47% of the revenue of Orange County, comes from that office. So you need somebody who is experienced in that office. Also, especially now because of the COVID situation, you need leaders who are experienced, leaders who are decisive, leaders who can lead. And for me, I always like to bring up the fact that in order to lead, you have to serve well first to be a leader. And I think I tick that box because I have been serving Orange County for over a decade in various leadership roles here, and I would do my best to protect the taxpayers' biggest investment, which is their home and their businesses. As I pointed out earlier, the other candidate, I am not a politician. I'm more a businessman, so I care for people's investment. I'm a small businessman, and I know how hard it is. Every dollar counts in businesses, especially with the current COVID situation. So I will do my best to help. And as you know, being in the chamber, a lot of people need help these days. Now, empathy and emotional intelligence has never been so important, putting yourself in other people's shoes. So I look forward to helping the residents of Orange County as a businessman and as a community leader, rather than as a politician. There.
Thank you so much. We are here with Khalid Muneer. He's running for property appraiser, serving Orange County. He is one of our candidates at the Eastside Regional Hob Nob. We have our virtual Eastside Regional Hob Nob on June 30th, starting at 5:30 p.m. Make sure to register for that and check out our candidates. So much more information, our one-on-one interviews at esrhobnob.com. Khalid, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Always a pleasure to talk to you, Bridget, and I look forward to seeing you when we all open up and start having the events physically rather than on Zoom. You miss you miss that feeling of being with people and feeling, etc., shaking hands with them and so on. And hopefully we can get over this and be back to where we were.
I do. I absolutely agree with you, Khalid. I hope to see you soon. And take care, everyone.
Thank you.